Hello, welcome to my live. Today is Friday, the 10th of April, um, and it's just 6 o'clock p.m. UK time. I'm going to be here depending on how many people are interacting with me up till 8 o'clock, potentially. For those who don't know me yet, I'm a therapist and coach, and I'm here to take questions and talk about anything related to mental health, therapy, psychology, human behavior, emotional intelligence, mindset, and any of those things and more. So if there's anything that you would like to ask me, that's what I'm here for. We have Sarah Bai from Paris. Good morning. Good morning to you. From Paris. Well, here in the UK, it's the afternoon. So maybe you're from Paris in America. Anyway, so the way that I start my live streams are always by reading and commenting on some of my own posts to remind you what I'm about and what sort of stuff I talk about. And hopefully, by the time I'm done, some of you will have some questions to ask me. So where am I? April. Let me check. Okay, we have Kay Stevens. Hi Didi, hello Kay. Sarah Bay from Paris. Yes, from Paris in France. It's 7 p.m. Oh yes. So it's not good morning. Good evening. Good morning, c'est le matin. Le début la fin d'après-midi ou le début de soirée, on dit good evening. I just translated the difference between good morning and good evening. Tips.jpg. Oh, hello. I feel like romantic relationships are a result of neurotransmitters and an instinct to reproduce. I feel disconnected. Am I destined to be weird forever? Okay, let's talk about this. Romantic relationship, just like anything, can be anything depending on the position that we're looking at that thing from. And so if you look at it from a position of, I don't know, neuroscience, you may explain how the brain interact and get switched on in regards to romantic relationships. If you look at it from the perspective of biology, you may think that it's a need to reproduce, to keep the species going. But if you look at ourselves from the perspective of romance, then there's a whole different definition. It depends. What relationship is depends for it is different for everyone. But when you say, I feel disconnected, I'm destined to be weird forever. So we can talk about this. I don't think that anyone can be something forever. I believe that we're all in here to discover more about ourselves and change and learn and evolve. And so if you feel disconnected, we can talk about it. But it doesn't mean that it's a curse. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you, because there are a lot of different people out there, and we're meant to connect with some people. We're not meant to connect with everyone. It's not possible. But there are enough people like us with whom we can connect with. And so it's about finding the right people. Right? So whatever reason it is that you feel weird and you feel disconnected, we can talk about it. Maybe you are neurodivergent, and it will be much easier for you to be in a place where people are neurodivergent, for instance. Sarah Bear from Paris, how we can work on our intrusive thoughts. Okay. So what sort of intrusive thoughts are we talking about? Generally speaking, when we talk about intrusive thoughts, in my profession, it's about thoughts that we don't want, that are very unsavory, thoughts that are wrong, and we can't keep having them in our mind. So they're related to shame, guilt, fear, anxiety, but we can't stop thinking about those things. So those are intrusive thoughts. Right? It's important to make the difference between overthinking and intrusive thoughts. Typically, so yeah, what sort of intrusive thoughts are we talking about? Could you tell me, could you share with me what sort of patterns of intrusive thoughts you experience, please, so that I can have a better idea of how to help you. Pumpkin Puff, hi Didi, how are you feeling today? I'm feeling good, thank you so much. I'm a bit annoyed because something just happened and that annoyed me. But I need to learn to let it go. This is what I preach, because that thing happened 5 minutes ago, and now it's 5 minutes away from that moment. So I should be moving away from that. Other than that little thing, everything else before that thing was perfect. I had a great day up to this point, and yeah, that's how we deal with things. We realize that whatever happened to us, it's only things that are happening in the moment, and and we don't have to hold on to those moments for longer than what we were meant to last. So we're back to that conversation. No one has a bad day. We have a bad moment, and we can learn how to let go of that moment, so that the next moment can be good again. And how about you, Pumpkin Puff? Sarah Bear from Paris. Oui, good French, yes. Dawn Woodland, we change as we get older. We do indeed. Hello, Dawn. Thank you for coming back today. We do. We all change. Everyone changes all the time. From the moment we are born until our last breath, we're designed to change and evolve and grow and get older. All the time. It's normal. It's the natural course of nature and life and everything. Yes, indeed. Pumpkin Puff, did you have a good birthday, by the way? Yes, I mean, we didn't do anything specific to celebrate it. My husband was very kind and he bought me a lot of things. So I have a lot of presents. That was nice. But we haven't done anything special about it. Whenever we feel like doing something, we just do it, regardless of if it's related to some specific celebration. And yes, just being together, doing our stuff. Um, for us, it's like birthday and Christmas every day. But yes, it was a good day, just like most of my days. I like to believe. Thank you for asking. Kay Stevens, and you elaborate on what the right person entails. So, what do you mean by the right person? Because there are many conversations that I had lately with a lot of different people, and I can't remember which one, or maybe I don't know which one you are referring to. Elaborating on what the right person entails. Are you talking about relationships? What is the right person for us? There's no such thing as the right person. In relationship, we have the illusion, the fantasy that we need to find and choose the right person. In reality, we just find whatever we are allowing ourselves to see and find. And then we learn out of those experiences, one relationship after a relationship. But we don't really choose anything, because when we think that we're choosing someone, we are still always limited by our subconscious belief, our limitations, our wounds, that will determine whether we're going to be attracted by that person or repulsed by them because of something about their character or their behavior. Um, I'd say, from an hypothetical perspective, the best person for us would be to find someone with whom we are aligned, we're more or less on the same level, um, either or both, in regards to how we perceive life, how what we've been through in the past, and but most importantly, where we want to go together in the future. So it's about self-awareness and the wanting of growing and healing together. Tip.jpg. Wow, thank you very much, Pro. Thank you. I'm not sure for what, but thank you. Oh, oh, yeah, answer the question. I forgot already. Gosh, this is my brain. Sometimes it's a bit all over the place. But thank you. I'm glad that you appreciate my answer. Result with repetition. You talked about red flags and the saboteur inside. How do we deal with that? I remember that. So for me to remember the conversation, I need to go back to the red flag post. Um, just bear with me, please. I've got so many posts. I want to make sure that I'm talking about the same thing. Uh, I can't find it. Let me try to remember it. I think it was something like you can. It's not that you can't see the red flags. The red flags are there, and everyone can see them. It's just that there's a self-saboteur inside of you that is telling you that they're not red flags, something like that, and you are believing it. I think that's something like that. And so, how do we deal with that? How do we deal with the self-saboteur? We want to realize that the self-saboteur is a program that we have created in childhood to protect ourselves from something that happened to us then. And so that's why we have what we call cognitive dissonance. We see something, but we don't see what it is. Our mind tells us that it's something else because it wants to protect us from something. And so there's one thing that is very important to realize is that we are designed to find whatever is familiar, safe. So whatever we've been through before, whatever we've felt before, whatever was deemed normal and habitual is deemed safe. So what this means is that if we grew up with people who were not kind to us, people who were cruel to us, people who were manipulative, people who were making us feel terrible about ourselves, this will be our normal. And if we don't upgrade the program, as we grow up in our adulthood, we're going to be attracted by people who have that sort of energy. Not because we think that they're a good idea, but because our body, our subconscious mind, feels that it is familiar. It feels like home. And so we're going to be attracted by people who are difficult, people who are mean, people who are taking advantage of us, people who are lying to us, people who are belittling us. Whatever that we've been through in childhood would be something that we repeat not consciously, but because we haven't worked on ourselves and it's still something that we feel is normal. So there's even a part of us that believe that we deserve it. That's why we have a self-saboteur within that conversation, right? So the self-saboteur is a broad term that can apply to any field of our life. But in regards to relationships and the red flags, we don't see them, even though everyone is telling us that there are red flags, because there's a discrepancy between what we think and how we feel. So what we think is your cognitive, rational mind, it's your brain, and you know certain things based on that, using that mind. But how you feel, what you believe, what you're attracted to, is down to your emotional subconscious mind. And this is the things that happen. And so because you have created a program to protect you from uncertainty, and you have not upgraded that program, you will keep attracting people who are going to somehow remind you of some people from the past. Um, so so how do we deal with that? We do some work on ourselves. So it's a big journey that we need to start on. We need to understand why we have created the system. We need to understand how we see ourselves within a relationship. Most of the things about our lives are down to how we see ourselves. It's just that simple. The way we see ourselves within any situation is going to create how we feel within the situations, and the way we feel about the situation is going to affect what we think and our behavior and our reactions and our choices as well. And so, how do we deal with saboteur? The best way to deal with that, I think, would be for you to tell me something specific. If you can string a sentence together, a specific sentence with "This is my problem. How can I change that precisely?" Then I can help you because it's a it's a very open question. How do we deal with the saboteur? It depends. We're all very different. But the first step is to understand that it's a part of you that you have manifested in childhood because of something that happened to you then. So you want to find out what happened to me. Then you want to realize, okay, now that I realize that that I have that because of that, do I still want to carry that system within me, or maybe I don't need it anymore as an adult? And then, based on individuals, there are a lot of different systems that we can use to change your program. But I need to know more about your specific self-sabotage situation, please. Result with repetition. Sarah Bay from Paris. Like I had image from old situations or something like that gonna turn wrong. So so you have some anxiety, some anxious thoughts, some worries. Is that what you mean? From old situations, something like going wrong. Are you anxious? Are you worried about the future? Because it's not the same thing as intrusive thought. Intrusive thought is more to do with, let's say, people who have OCD. They have some patterns of thought that are always coming back. So let's say you have OCD with germs. You can constantly think about, I need to clean my hands, it's full of bacteria everywhere. Those are sort of intrusive thoughts. And it's very, very, very debilitating. Or it could be some very wrong thought to do with assaulting people, intimately or physically, and it's coming out of nowhere and you don't understand why. And those are really what I have in mind when we use the word intrusive thoughts. Um, and maybe what you mean would be more about anxiety and worries. Is that what you mean? Um, Intrusive thoughts can also be some sort of voice in your head that are telling you to do something, um, or telling you about someone that is very, very strong and present and pervasive. Pumpkin puff. I understand how those little things that bother you can feel like tripping on a pebble. It can screw your day up for a bit, but it can be good again. Hopefully, we can help with that. Thank you, but I've helped myself. I've got my own system. I practice. I literally practice everything that I preach. So thanks to that, I mean, I would be a terrible, I would be terrible at giving advice if I didn't take my own in the first place. But thank you for your kind word, Pumpkin Puff. I just wanted to take the opportunity to highlight that we're all the same, including me, who's there for help others. I go through ups and downs just like anyone else, all through the days, every day. But I think every time that I have a chance to utilize one of my downs, it's a plus for me because I can use it to show you that precisely. I was disappointed because I asked someone to do something for me, that person didn't, and I know that they didn't mean it on purpose. They just forgot. They were clumsy. They didn't think about it. They had other things in mind. But I was annoyed because for me it was very important. And so the first thought that I had is because of my condition, like you, I take things personally. And I was like, that person doesn't care about my thing. Ask them for one thing and they can't care, so they don't care about me as a whole human being. That's how I felt in the moment. But then the next moment, I'm reminding myself, okay, no, it happens. Sometimes people are clumsy. Maybe they didn't think about it for X, Y, Z. It's got nothing to do with me. It's not because they don't respect me. It's not because they don't care about me. It's because they had other priorities, and it happens. Uh, and so there's still a little remnants of frustration, but let's say 95% of it is gone, and the rest will just disappear as I forget about it, as I stop thinking about it. But very often, especially with things like BPD, we believe that it's because of me, and then we're going to be really aggravated. Um, and I know, utilizing my rational mind, that it's not that, it's just that they are in a different space and they are also facing myriads of different things all day long. So there are a lot of reasons as to why they may forget something. It's not because they never cared about me. Um, it is because they have other priorities, and it's okay. The one thing that I can make sure next time is to double check, triple check, quadruple check that we get it right. I cannot trust them anymore. Not because I don't believe their good intention, but because they have shown me that their good intentions were not good enough. Because we're all humans, we have limitations. So it's up to me now to make sure that I'm super precise. I'm going to repeat, double check 3 times, 10 times. Are you making sure it's the right thing? You are going to do this properly. And now I will feel better. This is my lesson. This is what I have to learn from that. Um, that's it. um, Pumpkin Puff, glad to hear you had a nice day, though. I'm doing all right today. I wrote some thoughts down I had over the week. Okay, if you want to share them with us, please. Pumpkin Puff. Oh, also, my books should be arriving today. I bought Anxiety and Us, so I can offer it to my husband after to read and Scattered Minds, like we spoke about. Fantastic. Thank you. Dawn Woodland. I've always been so sensitive and emotional, even as a baby, light, sound, etc. Okay, okay. So, are you neurodivergent, or did you have some trauma in childhood? Very often, when we are neurodivergent, either because we have ADHD or autism, or if it's acquired through trauma, we will be hypersensitive to things because our mind is constantly scrutinizing and scanning our environment to make sure that we are safe. That's one of the things. I was reading about something that Neil deGrasse Tyson was explaining that people with misophonia have a higher rate of intelligence. So it's a different way to look at it. But basically, misophonia is the condition that gets us, some of us, to find it really, really irritating to hear someone chewing, for instance. Some little noise can be really, really aggravating to some of us. For me, chewing is not a problem, but sometimes breathing, talking, something can really, really trigger me, and that's because most people can filter the sounds out of the mind. They know it's just a background noise, For some of us, no, we have to calculate, record, absorb, analyze everything all the time. And so according to Neil deGrasse Tyson, it's a synonym of high intelligence. And I don't necessarily value that, because for me, intelligence comes in many forms, and I believe that they are all special, and so it's not about that. But I think that it's interesting for people to see things from a different perspective. Misophonia tends to be most likely talked about people who are neurodivergent and very sensitive to certain sounds, and so that will be more portrayed like a madness, like a problem. But the reason why I was mentioning Neil deGrasse Tyson is that he's turning it into a positive. Some people appreciate that they are a little bit more intelligent than other people, perhaps. But anyway, Dawn, yes, are you neurodivergent yourself? Kay Stevens, earlier you said we need to find the right people for our peace. I assume and interpret that as safe people who have our backs. The right people for our peace. Okay, so we need to find the right people, as in people who are kind to us. People who are, we don't want to find people who are going to hurt us, people who are going to be cruel to us, people who are going to judge us. We want to be with people who are compassionate, people who are emotionally intelligent, people who may be also on the neurodiversity spectrum, if we are on that spectrum. That's what I meant. Some of us, we have so much baggage and so much hurt that we will be toxic to many people around us. Those of us who have healed from that, or who didn't have that sort of hurt, or who are like us and don't need to use us as punching bags or scapegoats, they are the people that we need to spend more time with and find. They are the right people that I meant. Dawn Woodland, it's hard to find the right tribe for your vibe. Everything is hard if you think about it, but everything becomes easier if you just go on that path and we don't think about it. If you think about something, it is hard because you're expecting for outcomes to be happening. Whereas when you just do it and you keep doing it, you don't think about it, at some point you will find more people. It is only the thought and the expectations and the desire that creates hardship. I often use that analogy. If you need to lift a heavy stone, for instance, you can either lift it or you cannot. That's it. It's not hard. But if you think about it, now it becomes hard. If you're thinking, I want to lift it, but I can't. And if you, so what happens if it's too heavy and you still want to lift it? What you need to do is to come up with a solution. Let me get some help, or let me get a machine, or let me find a way to lift it. And just like that, at some point it's going to happen, and it doesn't have to be hard. The hardship only comes from when we're thinking about something that we want that is not here yet. And so, if you think about it, everything is hard. Right? But if you think, instead of thinking about the thinking, if you just go for it and you tell yourself, I want to find my tribe, I'm going to do my best. As long as you focus on doing your best, that's good enough. And there's nothing hard about it. Does it make sense? Dawn? Khalil, me. What's your opinion about individuation that Carl Jung talked about? Let me see. I want to make sure that we're talking about something. Individuation. Carl Jung. Okay. Carl Jung's core concept for psychological maturations, representing the lifelong process of integrating conscious and unconscious aspects of the psyche to become a whole unique individual. It involves dismantling false personas, confronting the shadows, and bringing unconscious content into the awareness to achieve self-realization and psychological wholeness. Okay, so yes, I agree with that. So Carl Jung has said and done many things that are very, very solid, that we use a lot in mental health professions. And so basically, what he talks about is that we have many parts of ourselves, and healing is about reconnecting with all of them. You want to stop? So let me read. I want to make sure, because there's different ways to approach that conversation. Definition: the process of becoming one's own self and realizing one's innermost uniqueness, often beginning in midlife. I think it's about letting go of our shame, letting go of the program, letting go of trying to fit in, becoming more authentic. But then the persona and the shadow is about addressing the part of ourselves that we are ashamed of. So the self realizing a new center of personality that is no longer dominated by the ego. Uh, okay, so that I understand what I'm going to say. This is where I differ. I don't believe that there is an ego like Freud or Jung or many of them. I believe that the ego is not. I don't explain it like an entity or a version of ourselves. I rather explain it like a perspective. There's the perspective of the ego. Um, and self-realization, in my eyes, it's very similar, but I just explain it in a different way. Self-realization is about transcending that perspective. Uh, so essentially, we can be at times the ego, and the ego is no more or less than the self. Ego means I in Latin, and it means me as opposed to everything else that is not me. So the moment I created I created a division, a separation between me and the rest of the world. So I'm no longer connected with everything else. And that is what the ego is about. It's not bad, it's not good, it's just a perspective. And then there is when we are doing some work on ourselves and we can meditate and we can become the observer of ourselves. We can be the observer of our thoughts, of our feelings, of our story, of our past, but also of our humanity. So when we are able to observe ourselves in that moment, we are no longer the ego. We are observing ourselves from the position of the observer, right? Um, and so when we live in a society with other people, we are always the ego. I can't be the observer always floating on, I don't know, levitating. This is not possible. When we are interacting with people, we are people, and we will be operating from the place of the ego. However, what we want to do is to realize that we can work on ourselves and upgrade whatever that ego entails. And so all the beliefs that we have, all the fears, all the trauma, all the baggage, all the wounds, they all belong to the ego. Um, and this is what the work is about. It's about learning how to have different perspectives so that we can observe ourselves from the outside, and then we can upgrade some aspect of that ego. We can tell that ego, you know what, that belief, that limiting belief that I had about myself, I don't need it anymore. I can let it go. And now we've worked on that, we can go back into the shell that is our body and be the ego again. But now we have upgraded the perspective, the experience of the ego a little bit more. I hope it makes sense. And so it's just maybe it's just a different way to explain the same thing. Um, but I believe that there's a lot of confusion when people talk about the ego. For me, really, it's no more or less than a perspective, and it's not bad either. So very often people talk about the ego as a part of us that is there to protect us, and it's true. But the reason why it's protecting us is because we believe in the division. Remember, ego means I, as opposed to there's an I and the rest of I that is not I. So there's two different things. And so that's why it's going to protect us, because there's that unknown, that uncertainty, that darkness that we don't know about. Um, and so, yeah. I'm not sure if I answered your question, but tell me more, ask me more, Kelly, me if you want to I don't know, understand my brain. Kelly, me, can you put the mic higher, closer to your mouth? The voice is not very clear. All right. Can you hear me, guys? Sorry to hear that. I need to do this. How about now? Is it better? It was dangling a little bit. Gosh, I wished I read that before. Let me know, please, whenever, if you can hear me well now, and if any of you missed the first part. Result with repetition regarding the saboteur. I'm in a relationship and I know there are red flags. My saboteur just does it things. My question: what should I do about it? So if you know that there are red flags, so your saboteur is not a person, it's not an entity, it's not a little evil standing on your shoulders with some horns going like that, and then you have Jiminy Cricket on the other side. Your saboteur is a system. We call it a saboteur, but it's actually a defense survival mechanism out of the many mechanisms that you have. And so what you want to do is to just tell yourself, I'm realizing that I have a saboteur that is telling me this and that. However, I can see that there are red flags. And so what it means is that there are moments where you are operating from that mind, your adult mind, cognitive, rational, logical, Cartesian. And there are other moments where you're operating from that mind, emotional, subconscious. And so whenever you are doing something but it's not aligned with what you know, it is because in that moment you're operating from that place. And so when you're in that place, but when you're back into your emotional mind, you will have all of those systems that were there to protect you when you were a child, because back then you didn't have anything else to protect you. If you can come back from here to there now as an adult, you don't need any of the systems. You can tell yourself, that are the red flags. So it's easy. I can see the red flags. I can ask myself, do I want to carry on with that relationship knowing that there are red flags? Yes or no? Simple. Yes or no? Then you will say to yourself, do I deserve that? No. Do I want better? Yes. Do I want to change and find someone better? Yes. Let go. And then you can change just like that. But you can only do this when you are here. If you are there, if you're emotional, then you will find it difficult because those are different minds. And so it's a bit complicated the way I'm explaining it here, but maybe what you want to do is to do some breathing so that you can come back from here to there. But again, we're all different. I don't know you. I don't know if I have a history of trauma. I don't know if I have any conditions. So there could be other things, and this may not work. We're all very, very vastly different. But essentially, what you want to do is to realize that whenever you are overwhelmed by something or confused, you are being hijacked by that mind, and you are further away from that one. And so it's all about regulating your nervous system and coming back to a place of homeostasis so that you can then switch on that mind and see things from that perspective and then take the right actions. Does it make sense? Result with repetition. Do you want to give me a specific example as to maybe if you try to do something and why it didn't happen in regards to your relationship? And just reading what you said, regarding the saboteur, I'm in a relationship and I know there are red flags. My saboteur just does it things. My question, what should I do about it? You know what? Another very simple way to look at it is set boundaries. It depends how bad it is. How bad are the red flags? Is that person constantly lying and cheating on you? Um, or do you believe that you could actually teach that person how to behave in a way that would be positive for the both of you? Sarah Bay from Paris. Yes, like his thought is like coming like a meteor, but is new. No, it's not OCD. It's like almost like a negative Gemini cricket. Gemini cricket. I just mentioned it before. Synchronicity. Like a negative Gemini cricket, like the situation gonna turn wrong. Okay, so basically you have an inner critic. I think it's more the sort of term that we would use. You have an inner critic that is constantly telling you, don't do this, it's gonna be bad, you're gonna be hurt again. Okay, so that's another system that we have to protect ourselves. So back in the days, whatever happened to you has created that Gemini cricket, negative one, but it's constantly telling you, don't do this. Who are you kidding? You're going to make a fool of yourself. Don't even dare look at yourself. Whatever that you may say to yourself, it's that voice. And basically, it's a system that you have created to prevent you from taking the same risk that will get you to be hurt like you've been hurt in the past before. So, how do we deal with the inner critic? You want to realize that that voice is not your voice. It is the voice of your parents. It is the voice of your teachers. It is the voice of your bullies. It is the voice of whoever looked up to you, looked after you, and hurt you. And the voice is stuck in your head. It's not Jiminy Cricket. It's their voice echoing in the background in your mind. And because you had that voice for such a long time, you believe that it's your voice. And even if you don't believe that it's your voice, you keep on hearing it all the time. That's because you have not upgraded again your program. So there are a lot of things you can do. Again, I don't know you, but just based on what you said, I'm going to guess. And if I'm wrong, do correct me, please. But what you want to do is to challenge those voices. So if you could tell me what sort of things, could you tell me precisely what are the messages that those voices are telling you, Sarah Bay? What does negative Gemini Cricket always tell you? Could you give me some examples, please? And we can use them together. Kay Stevens, when I started questioning my past, I suspected someone who was successful at casting the blame on me to get himself out of trouble. My adopted brother, who had a very poor impulse control, poor parenting. Okay. Dawn. I remember seeing the red flags early on in relationships. He put his hand up and said, "My way or the highway." Also, I do want. Also, I do what I want when I want. Okay. I wasn't aware of this. Then I was blinded by my heart. Okay. But now you know. So now, are you still going to allow this to happen? Dawn. I was love bombed and didn't even know it. Okay. Okay. So this happens to the best of us. I get it. Absolutely. But now that you know it, you're telling me this now, so you know. Right around now, in that moment, you know this. So what are you going to do about this? Do you think you can do something about it? Let's talk about it. Who are you? Oh, hello, hello, Didi. Hello, who are you? Sarah Bear from Paris. But at the end, I say, okay, I don't agree with that. I breathe and say, Sarah, that voice is of fear. Yes, okay, this is it. You're challenging that voice. This is it. So you're doing it already. I mean, you're doing at least some aspect of it, some part of it. Sarah Bear from Paris. I say to myself that a voice of fear of sabotage to stay in a state of fear. I say to myself that a voice of fear, that a voice of fear of sabotage to stay in a state of fear. It's a bit confusing. I think what you're trying to say is that you realize that that voice is not your voice. Is that correct? Dawn, once I moved in with him, he changed like Jekyll and Hyde. Okay, but he's changed. So what are you going to do about this? Let's see what comes down. Because I know that I'm a bit behind. Who are you? My question today is if it is worth it when you are depressed to do something or force yourself, even if it takes 10 times the energy to do it compared to when I'm okay or happy. You never want to force yourself to do anything. Right now, I'm thinking about cleaning the dishes, which I usually love doing, and it feels like climbing Mount Everest. I could do it anyway, be slow, and feel horrible, or I could wait till I wake up tomorrow and I hope I'll be better and enjoy doing it. Do whatever you can do. Never force yourself. If you're depressed, don't force yourself. The more you're trying to force yourself, especially if you're depressed, the harsher it will feel and the worse you will feel about yourself because you're essentially telling yourself, I'm not good enough. I hate myself. I have to do that. I have to punish myself. And that is going to make you feel even worse. So, what I'd say is either do something entirely different or break it down in a baby step. I don't need to do all the cleaning. Maybe I just want to clean one plate. That's it. Easy. Just one plate, one fork, one tooth, whatever it is. One little thing. That will make it easier. And then you do one plate. You know what? I'm going to do a spoon. I'm going to do that as well. And then if you oh, you know what? I've done all of it. You know what? Let's clean the whole flat. You can create a momentum, right? So if you're really depressed, try to make it as simple, as small, as accessible as possible. That's it. But if it's really not what you want to do, don't do it. F it. It doesn't matter. Do something else. Go for a walk. Go outside. If you're depressed, go outside. Go outside, go outside, go outside. Even if it's just for 20 minutes, 10 minutes, go outside. Go for a walk. Just go outside and walk. Right? And again, if it's difficult, just tell yourself, you know what? I'm just going to open the door and take some fresh air. And then I'm going to do one step, and then another one, put some music, and then eventually you'll be doing a marathon over the park or whatever, and you feel much better about yourself. Does it help? Where are you? Um, Pumpkin Puff. So I was in a little bit of a rut. One of the thoughts was, why do I feel completely detached from people, but I need to mask around others, then embarrassed when I'm myself? Let me read again. One of the thoughts was, why do I feel completely detached from people, but I need to mask around others when embarrassed when I was okay. Because you have BPD, because you've been traumatized, because you've been hurt, because you've been rejected, because you've been belittled, because you've been bullied. That's why. Uh, that's why you are detached from people, because you never felt that you belonged. You never felt that you were accepted. You never felt seen or heard. You never felt that you're good enough for them. And then you need to mask around because you have to stay safe. We mask because we don't feel safe. All the neurodivergent people mask because they need to feel accepted, tolerated, and just safe in society, right? Well, but I do need to mask around others when I'm embarrassed when I'm myself. Yes, and you're embarrassed when you're being yourself because in the past, being yourself was the cause of a lot of trouble. So you're always embarrassed. You believe that I'm not enough. If I show my real self, people are going to laugh at me. They're going to ridicule me. because this is what you believe about yourself, because this is what people have made you believe about yourself when you were young. And so that's why pumpkin puff. Does it make sense? But this is in the past. You don't need to believe that anymore. Now you can tell yourself, I can see the beauty in me now. I've been my husband for how many years? I've created those achievements. There's a lot of good things about myself. You can learn how to do this. You can learn how to build a story about yourself, but it's much better than the stories you've been taught by them, that you've kept replaying in your mind all those years. Coco and us said hi. Hello, Coco. Pumpkin Puff. I was trying to be kind to myself, but I couldn't stop the negative thoughts. I tried to drown them out, but I couldn't. I became shut down my own body and started ripping myself to shreds. Okay? So it happens. But when it happens, first thing that I need to notice is I couldn't stop the negative thought. You can't stop a negative thought. It is impossible. No one can stop a negative thought. I can't. No one can. What you can do is to choose another thought, is to choose a better thought, is to choose to do something else. As long as you're focusing on the thought, when you say, I couldn't stop the negative thought, it means that you are still focused on the thought. Oh, it's in my head. I want to stop it. I hate it. I don't like it. Oh, go away. You're still focused on it 100%. And it's impossible to get rid of it. Remember, the brain doesn't process a negative. So if you tell your brain, I don't want to think about this, I don't want to think about this, I don't want to think about this, all it's going to show you is this, because it doesn't understand the don't part. And so you have to stop focusing on that. You have to remind yourself, you have to do your best to remind yourself, as long as I'm trying to do something about that thing, I'm going to be trapped in that thing. I'm going to be a slave of it. I'm going to suffer from it. What you want to do is to try your best, do your best to remind yourself, you know what, get the F out of here. Let's go for a walk. Just if I'm going to give an advice to anyone now that the days are becoming warmer and brighter, WALK, walk. Just go out. Just go for a walk. Whatever that you suffer from, anxiety, depression, intrusive thoughts, go for a walk. And then as you walk, your body will start to move, your brain will start to move. The blood flow is going to bring a lot of oxygen to your brain, the movement, the interaction, the stimulation of all the things that you see outside, the sky, the people, the birds, the trees, the cars, whatever, all of the noise, the smell, the temperature, all of those things are going to get your brain to move, and you will be thinking about something else eventually. But you need to walk and you need to pay attention to your surrounding, and you need to maybe listen to some music, or at least go outside and walk. Right? But if you stay indoors and you start to think about something else, I want to stop thinking those thoughts, then you're just going to add some gas onto the fire, right? Does it make sense? Pumpkin puff. Pumpkin puff. But also, I can go from feeling like I can do anything to wanting to set myself on fire in a moment's notice. I don't understand why I can switch so drastically. So you don't need to understand. You have to stop doing this. I understand. I understand why you're doing this. But basically, this is basically, you don't need to understand everything. Just do your best to feel better about yourself in this moment. There's a time to understand, and there's a time to let go. If you're constantly stuck into the, I need to understand everything, I need to control everything, I need for everything to make sense, I need to have a track record, I need to be prepared for the next time, now you're going to create more problems for yourself. There's an allegory in Buddhism about the two arrows. The first arrow, you get hit, there's nothing you can do about it. But then you can either find a way, focus on getting rid of the arrow and seek shelter, or you can stay here going, why the arrow? I hate it. And then, because you're not moving, the archer is going to shoot another one, the second arrow. Right? Or I think this exists also with snakes. You get bitten by a snake. You can either seek some medicines to heal, or you can be angry at it, and then the snake is going to keep on biting you again and again. So you don't need to. So you want to remind yourself there's a place and a time for everything. There's a time to do some self-reflection, and there's a time to really get away from that space. So whenever you feel overwhelmed, go out for a walk. Put some music, dance, sing, do something that makes you happy, do some yoga, do some meditation, do some boxing, do some whatever, move. And then that will help you get your mind out of that space. Does it make sense? Pumpkin Puff. Sargon said hi. Hello. Khalid and me, it's better. Thank you, sir. Okay, thank you, Khalid. Thank you. I'm glad that something that I said helped you. Sally Taylor, yes, much easier to hear you. All right, thank you. Kush. Okay, well, I hope that I was not too, because I remember I spoke very fast at the beginning of the stream. So anyway, now it's better. Thank you. I will remember next time to make sure that I button up that one. Dawn, that's better. Thank you. Result with repetition. I understand what you are saying. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. Sarah Bay from Paris. Sorry, I lose the live. Just get in back, like that situation is gonna get bad, you know. Yes, I think it's my voice of auto-sabotage to prevent me to be a better, to go in that unknown, to feel better or state or a better life. Okay, so you know about this. Okay, so you can challenge it. Right? Just tell yourself, is it true? Is it useful? Is it kind? What that voice is telling. And if it's neither of them, don't pay attention. Choose to listen to something else. Who are you? I am literally charging my phone so I can go for a walk. Ah, you are so funny. There you go. uh, uh, so you can go, you said, right? You are a gem. Fantastic. Thank you. If you're charging your phone, oh yeah, so you're going to go without your phone or with the charger? I'm not sure. I will understand that situation. But you know what? If you can go, go. It's a lovely day outside. Tim, how to repattern deep subconscious trauma? It depends. So I need more specificity, please. What trauma are we talking about? What happened to you? She can tell you that because it's a it's such an open question. I haven't got a clue. For me, it's like saying, "Help me, Didi. I have pain. What can I do? I don't know. Can you tell me about it more, please? Uh, what sort of trauma are we talking about, and how are they affecting you in your life? Those are the two things that I need to know, or even just one thing. What is it? What are the patterns in your life that are problematic, that are getting you to have that awareness that it is a subconscious trauma that you have to address? Sally Taylor, a close friend of many years, sent a picture of her and a male friend sitting on a bench. She asked my opinion. She didn't give me context. I told her I had no opinion. This triggered ... So let's see. Who are you? I have been having bad SH thoughts the past 3 days too. Okay, self-H. It's not going away. I want it to go away. Had this in years. Okay, so the self-H thoughts are a symptom. They are not a problem. If we consider harming ourselves, it's because there are many different reasons. That gives us a sense of control. We can feel something, or simply we want to send a message out there, or we want to end our lives. There are also different reasons as to why one would do that. And so it's not about the symptom, it's about addressing the reasons as to why you're not happy. And so the first thing, as we said, go for a walk. And then tell me about what sort of thoughts you have that get you to want to do this. What sort of situations? What sort of situations happened for you to think about harming yourself? Sally Taylor. This triggered her. She tried to guilt trip me. I called this out. She refused to talk about it. I haven't heard from her. What would you recommend? Let her work it out first or call her to check in? So let me try to understand the situation. She sent a picture of her and a male friend sitting on a bench. She asked my opinions. She didn't give me context. And I told her I had no opinion. So because you had no opinion, she was triggered. Well, what I would say is that just based on what you said, she seems to be in a very reactive state. So I would check on her for that. I said, listen, mate, I don't know what happened. Why did you react like that? I generally don't have an opinion, but I can see that you are overwhelmed. So what gets you to react like that? What did I do or do not do? What did I say or not say? What gave you the impression that you had to react to that? Why did you react to me? I come from a good place. I care about you. I want to know about your story. However, I don't have an opinion because not everyone has opinions about everything. However, I do care about you. And I can see that you are not in your normal state. So if you need some help, ask me. If you need to speak to me, I'm here and I'm happy to listen to you. And if you don't want to see me for now, it's also okay. I respect your silence, but know that whenever, if ever you're ready to talk to me, I'm here for you. And I would love to do this. There are tons of reasons as to why people react, and there could be myriads of things that you have no idea about, and there's nothing we can do about it. As long as you send the right message with the right intent from your perspective, that's it. I'm going through the same. One of my dear friends from the past doesn't want to see me, and this one is surprising because we've been friends for decades. Um, and suddenly something happened to him, and for whatever reason, some old resentment that he had about me resurfaced. But we've been like the best friends for many decades, and so that came out of nowhere. But I have to accept that whatever is happening in his mind is his mind. It's not mine. I don't know. And so I send him messages regularly saying, "How are you doing? Hope that you are well. Remember I'm here whenever." And I've been doing it for years now. I think for 4 years. But I still do it. And the friends that we have in common are still telling me, but he doesn't care about you anymore because, but we never had that conversation. So I'm like, if he doesn't want to see me, it's fair enough. I have no problem with that. I would feel a bit sad because I like him and I would love to spend time with him as a friend. But if it's not happening, I have to respect that. However, I will still keep trying without being intrusive, without being insisting. But every now and then I will send him a message, and maybe it will go through, maybe it will not. But at least I'm doing what I feel is right for me to do, in disregard of whatever outcomes may happen. So that's what I would do. Tim, is there a way to talk to you personally, doctor? I'm not a doctor. I am not a doctor. I'm not a psychologist. I am not a psychiatrist. I am a therapist. I am a clinical hypnotherapist and an RTT therapist. If you want to talk to me, if you want to inquire about my services, there's a link on my bio to my website. So you can visit my website and organize an email from there. And we can get started from there. See if we can work together. Okay, Tim. Who are you? That's exactly why I'm going the hell out of my apartment before anything goes wrong. Yes, get the hell out of it. Pumpkin Puff. I'm nodding while you are talking to me. I understand what you are saying. I know that you mentioned before that I need to move. I did work out, listen to music, which did help, but it always comes back. You need to move when it's happening. It's not just about, I moved today, ticked, and now I'm going to stay here and wait for the negative thoughts and anxiety to creep back in. No. You move when you feel like that. So it doesn't matter if you tell me I spent 5 hours at the gym already, I've been climbing Kilimanjaro, I don't care. Just go out now. It doesn't matter. If you feel bad, now is all there is. Now you get to go out. Now you get to stand up. Now you get to move your legs. Now you have to do something about it. Right? It doesn't matter what happened before. Right? You want to do it as a hygiene of life, a lifestyle. It will help you at a general level. However, if you still have some instance where you are being overwhelmed, in that moment is what you're going to do. It doesn't matter anything. Nothing else matters because there's only now. So if it comes back, then go out. That's it. Do it again. Right? Does it make sense? Sally Taylor, thank you so much. All right, thank you, Sally. I'm glad that you appreciate my suggestion. Who are you? I'm charging my phone 5 more minutes. Okay, and then I'll step out. Okay, I get it now. I've been stressed because applications are getting declined. I have almost no money, only 2 friends left who I don't want to annoy because they dot dot dot. Pumpkin Puff. I wrote down what if I don't want to let go of my anger/pain. I know it was there to protect me, but I don't need that anymore. My husband is trying to understand why I struggle to let go and trust. If you don't want to, there's a part of you that don't want to let go of the anger or the pain. But because there's a part of, because you are still attached to what you are used to. It takes time to undo those things. So you have many versions of you. There's a version of you that wants to change, and there's a version of you that doesn't want to change. And so whenever you feel that you are resisting, it is that version of you that has taken over. So what you want to do is to speak to that version of you, give it a hug, say, you know what, it's okay to be scared. You don't need to be scared. You're going to be safe. I'm here now. I'm in charge. I'm going to make sure that things get better and better. We can do this together. Different parts of you. And then when you do that, eventually the part of you that is more positive will take over and say, you know what, let's do this. And eventually, by virtue of repetition, you replace an old habit with a better one over time. Clement. Oh, hello, Clement. Do you have tips to stop smoking weed to relax? I think we had a little bit of a conversation last time. I don't know about tips. I know how to address the stop smoking weed. If you smoke weed to relax, it's because it's the best system at this point in time that you know of that can make you relax. So the only tip that people would give you is, you know what? I know a great tip. How about instead of smoking weed, you smoked crack cocaine? Great idea. So this is the thing. It's not about replacing it with anything else. It's about addressing the reason as to why. There's no hack. There's no tips. It's about addressing why you need to smoke weed in the first place. So there are two elements. Number one, the why, which is the stress, the anxiety, the depression, whatever it may be. And there is why did you choose that thing? So some people are addicted to weed, some people are addicted to PORN or computer screens, some people are addicted to shopping, to work, to the gym, to gambling, to alcohol, to sugar. So we want to find out why you have chosen that specifically as well. But it's nowhere near as important as to the reason as to why you need to smoke weed. But also when you say I need to stop smoking weed to relax, it means that you're not relaxed. So we can also look at the reason as to why you're not relaxed, why you're stressed out, basically, why you burnt out. What is it that is too much for you? So that's a different way to look at it. We can talk about this from that perspective if you want. Um, do you have a good grasp of your life? Do you have systems in place to make sure that you are doing things that make you happy, that you're not being working too much or doing too much of the things that you don't want to do? There's a lot of discussions we can have. What would you like to talk about? Are you happy with your life? Are you stressed out? How about we start from that place? Clemens, who are you? Are doing poorly themselves, and I have two parents, but I still feel orphaned as my dad is toxic and emotionally damaging as fuck. And my mom is trying her best, and she is a sweet person, but I have somehow detached to be it trauma or whatever. When she hugs me, I feel nothing but cold and emptiness. And that hurts because I love her to bits, but I can't feel any warmth, any love. Okay, I get it. I get it. Yep. So what would you like to do about this? Pumpkin puff. Oh, okay. So even if I've already done some physical stuff that day, then I need to just do it again until I feel resolved. Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. Uh, um, I don't know. Let me think about some analogy that I can come up with. Um, I don't know. I can't come up with something. Let's say if you have an itchy skin, and you say, "Oh, I scratch myself a lot, but it's itchy again. Oh, what can I do? I'll scratch myself again." And eventually, you find some cream that can help you with that. I don't know. Yeah, I can't come up with anything. But whatever you're going through, you need to address that thing in the moment. Yes, I think maybe if it's something, maybe it's something that I never mentioned. And you're right. If I didn't mention it, you wouldn't know. And so, let me say it now. Whenever you're overwhelmed, you take action in that moment to address that problem right here, right then. Pumpkin Puff. Yes, my Jekyll and Hyde are fighting each other at all times. Okay. So you want to find out what are the patterns that are triggering that fight inside of you. Um, what are the situations or the thoughts that are often happening that get you to get into the state? If you could tell me about, please. Who are you? I live by myself. My older brother also moved out and he's trying to help sometimes, but he's part of my childhood trauma, so difficult to trust despite loving and forgiving him too. And I'm anxiously attached to age gap guy. I remember the conversation and he's switching between me and this other girl, and I find it hard to let go because he partially gives me what my dad never gave me. Okay, so who are you? We can't have everything in life right around now. Sometimes we have to make choices. It's just the way it is. So you have to choose. I'm going to choose this. However, that choice comes with those problems. If I choose that, it's better, but it comes with other problems. Choose whatever is best for you at this point in time. Choose whatever is your priority. Choose what is your path of least resistance. And so that other guy, I always told you, get rid of him. However, if it makes you feel better, then despite the bad things, if you have more positive than negative, keep doing it. For now, nothing is definite. It's about what works best for you at this point in time. Okay? Um, but the fact that you don't live with your parents anymore, great. It's a great thing. I'd say do your best to find a way to be as independent as possible so that you never need to see them ever again. And eventually, when you have total freedom, uh, and that you can start to attract the right people for you, other than that older guy, then this is how you heal over time. But you have to start somewhere. You're doing this anyway. I think you're doing all right. I think the only thing that we need to address is that desire for right here and now for everything to be perfect. Just remind yourself that we can't have everything right here and now. Whatever, I always have a choice, but the choice that I'm choosing may come with some downs, and I must accept that it's still my choice for now. So choose whatever is easier for you now, and at the same time, simultaneously have a strategy to change your life, to change yourself, so that eventually um, you can upgrade all of those things. Pumpkin puff. I just want to feel better. I'm trying. I know it's a process and not to focus on I need to feel better. I just want to stop feeling like I'm the issue. Okay, go out. Go out for a walk. That's it. Simple. Just what? It is that simple. If you want to feel better, go out for a walk. That's it. And as you walk outside, at some point you will feel better. As you look at the squirrels, the little birds, as you look at the trees, as you look at the clouds in the sky, then eventually look at the flowers, you will feel better. It is that simple. Right? Now you may say, yeah, but when I'm back to my spot, I'm angry again. Well, in that moment you felt better. So we're going to address each situation one at a time. The first thing that you need to do that you have not done enough, in my opinion, just based on our interaction so far, is to go out when you feel the need, when you feel overwhelmed. Break the patterns, so that at least reminds you that you have power. Clemens, I have troubles relaxing because I had emotionally abusive, covert, narcissistic mother. That's why I smoke weed, I think. Okay, right. But is she there with you? Is she in the same room as you? Is she always going like that at you? Is she following you in the street? Wherever you go, narcissistic mother with a baton hitting your head. Is she always behind you? This is what you want to address yourself. It's true that we do things for some trauma, because of some traumas in the past, but then you know that this happened to you. But I want you to realize that right here and now, is she with you? Right here and now, is she buggering you? Okay, so my clock, I'm not going to post this. I was meant to post my other post at 5 o'clock. It didn't happen. So now I need to postpone that one. I need to do it at 8 o'clock. Sorry, I'm just talking to myself. uh, so, I have trouble relaxing because I had an emotionally abusive, covert, narcissistic mother. That's why I smoke weed, I think. I had no emotion support and it damaged my self-esteem. How can I resolve that? By finding other things that makes you happy. So we're talking about different things. We're talking about smoking weed, and now you're talking about your narcissistic mother, and now you're talking about your self-esteem. What triggers the need? So this is still what I'm waiting for you, Clemens, for me to help you. I need to know what gets you into that state where you need to smoke weed. What is the thought? What is the situation? Is it when you think about your mother? Is it when something happens to you and you have no confidence about yourself? What is it? This is how we can fix it. I need to know what is that specific thing, situation, thought that gets you to smoke weed. If you can tell me that, we can work on that. Because I don't believe that your mum is always following you everywhere, right? Or is she? I could be wrong. Maybe you live with her. Do you live with her? Pumpkin Puff. I also know that I'm just a little sad. No, I also know that I'm just a sad little child inside that wanted to feel accepted. I know that, but that anger in me turns into a fire that blazes forever. So there are different versions of you. There is a version of you that is sad. There is a version of you that is angry. There is a version of you that is at peace. You shift state from a moment to another. This is very important. Remember, I always say that we're not one mind, we're many minds. And they're all valid. However, we forget the element of time. Each moment, there's a different version of you that is version of us that is taking care of that moment. And so at some point, there's some moment where you feel like you are the sad child, because in that moment you are operating from that perspective. And then next moment, the part of you that doesn't want to accept that you're a sad little child is going to take over. Anger comes from action. I want to change something. I want to do something about it. So you get angry because you don't want to be that. So now there's a different version of you that has taken over that moment. So what we want to do is to tell this version, you know what? Chill the F out. I'm here now. You don't need to freak out, because there's nothing to freak out about. You're safe. Nothing that happened to you in the past is going to happen again. Nothing that is happening now has anything to do with the things that happened to you in the past. We get into a state because we're going through situations now that are bringing some flashbacks of the past. And so because of that, now those versions of ourselves are back as well. Does it make sense, Pumpkin Puff? That's why you need to go out. Mesman999, stop smoking weed. Please be kind. Mesman, I'm creating a space to help people. Telling people to do something is not nice. Explaining, understanding, listening is what we do. Okay? So please be kind. I would love to speak to you and interact with you, but I want to make sure that the place is safe for everyone. No self-righteousness allowed on my live streams. Dawn Woodland, me too. I'm like that. Get you, Pumpkin. Okay. Pumpkin Puff, let me think of a good example. There are many. The main one is when I feel like I'm not being seen and it feels like I'm just used, either emotional or physically, when I feel that I don't matter. Okay? I understand. I feel like that as well every now and then. Remember, I have BPD and CPTSD and ADHD and bipolar as well. And so I do understand those things. But what I want to know is, what are the situations that get you to feel that you're not seen, that you are just being used? What are the words that are being said? What are the thoughts that you're thinking about? What are the things that are happening for you to think like that? This is what I need. Because we don't suffer from the situations, we suffer from our interpretation of the situations. And so because your mind has interpreted the situations as such, now, what is the interpretation? I'm not seen, I'm being used, like everyone always does. It's not fair. And now you're going to feel terrible about yourself because of the interpretation. That's it. So what I want to know is, what are the things being said or done that gets you to translate them in such ways that you feel terrible about yourself. Who are you? I am very strict to myself, and all of this boils down to me hating myself for being like this, and because I'm struggling to find a job or a school, so I don't feel safe, so I act on survival mode and do things I'm not proud of or aligned with. Okay, so you know that you are being too strict on yourself, right? And you know that the solution is the opposite to that. So knowing all of those things, what do you do about it? Are you trying to ask me, how do I stop hating myself? Is that it? Whatever you are going through, you want to realize that the voice that is hard to yourself, it was the voice of your parents and your teachers. You don't have to be hard to yourself. You can learn, you can start to learn a new skill, a new language, and that's the skill and the language of talking to yourself with love, patience, compassion. Talk to yourself the way you should have been spoken to when you were a child, with love and support and acceptance and tolerance and patience. You say to yourself, you just write down, I had myself, I'm very strict. Don't be strict to yourself anymore. Learn how to be chilled. Learn how to allow yourself to just be. And tell yourself, I will find the right thing at the right time. I don't have to do anything. I don't need to do anything. I want to do something and it will happen. But when I'm aligned with it, and how are we aligned? When there's no stress, when there's no pressure, when there's no resistance, when there's no shame, when there's no guilt, when there's no you have to, you must, you need, you're not good enough. So the solution is in your program itself. Can you see this, Wayib? You want to realize that the habit that you have of being strict to yourself is borrowed from your parents, but it doesn't work. Because the more strict people are to their kids or to anyone, the more they create tension and pressure, and it's harder for everyone. Instead, you want to encourage positively. You want to support with love and compassion and patience. And that's how kids thrive. And that's how adults connect with you as well. And that's how you heal your inner child as well. Pumpkin puff. So if I go on a walk, come back and feel like shit again, I just need to turn back around and walk the door again. Now, we talked about many times. You first walk in order to change your state of mind. You want to go from here back to there. And once you are there, then you can address your thoughts. Then you can address your belief. Then you can address your interpretation of what happened. Does it make sense? As long as you're still being operating from that place, you cannot see anything other than from the same perspective that you have experienced things when you were a child. And so what we need to do, the walk, is for you to come out of the storm instead of being in the middle of the storm, get out of it. But then when you're back, you still have some work to do. You need to address, okay, why did I react like that? Why did I feel like that? Why did I think the thing that I thought? And then you change the interpretation of what happened. Is it because I'm not seen because no one cares about me? No, it's not because of that. I get triggered because I thought that what he said meant that, but it doesn't mean that. It's just because he's clumsy, because he meant well, but sometimes he can say the wrong things, and it's not his fault. And so I don't need to take it personally. I don't need to react to it. I don't need to believe that it's because of me. That's the work that you do after you've walked. And then this is the work. When you realize, you know what, I've done it again, but it's okay. Think about Britney Spears. Oops, I did it again. Think about that song. Oops, I did it again. I took it personally again when there was nothing personal about it. But it's a skill that takes time, especially if you have conditions such as BPD. But what you want to do is to constantly bring yourself back from that state to that state so that you can then assess reality and see something that is positive for you as opposed to seeing something that gets you to retract into your shell and hate yourself and hate everyone again. Okay, Pumpkin Puff, who are you? If I had a job and a couple trustworthy, loyal people around, I'd be doing way better. Of course you would. However, this is what you get. So what you want to do is to make the most of what you have, because otherwise you'll be living in that state. Is the arrival fallacy. I believe that if I have this, when I have that, things will get better, and it's true. But as long as you're going to believe, I need to have money, I need to have the good connection, I need to have some support, I need to have an office space, I need to have the good equipment, and otherwise, then you'll be in a state of lack. I can't do this. I cannot do that because I don't have those things. I cannot do what I want to do unless I have those things. But because I don't have those things, I cannot do anything. So what you're telling yourself is that I cannot, I cannot, I cannot. That's all that your brain is getting. So what is the solution to this? I'm going to do the best with what I have. I'm going to find ways to maximize whatever little resources that I have. And that's enough. I'm going to do my best with what I have. And as you do that, you will change your mindset from a mindset of lack. You're going to have a mindset of creativity. I'm going to make the most of what I have. Maybe I don't have much money, much time, much space, much whatever that I need, but I have something. I'm going to make do with what I have as best as I can. I'm going to learn how to be creative. Just do that. And as you are progressing, everything will change. If you look at the success story of a lot of people who went from rags to riches, this is what they say. Every single one, uh, you they do make do with what they have, and eventually things get better and better and better. But if they had the mentality from the beginning that they needed something in order to get started or to do what they wanted to do, they would have done nothing. And so um, it is true that if you had more, it will be much easier for you. However, this is your lot at this point in time for now, right? So do your best with what you have and just focus on being creative and doing your best. That's it. And that goes for everyone and anything in your life. Just do your best. We can't do more than our best, but as long as we are aware that we're doing our best, as in, I'm still doing something, as opposed to waiting for things to be better, then you are getting the ball rolling. And this is how momentum works. It starts with little movement, tiny little bit, and eventually it gets bigger and faster and easier. Okay, who are you? Use your imagination. Use all the resources that we have now that we never had 10 years ago, 20 years ago, or even 5 years ago. AI, social media, internet. There's so many things that things that people are coming up every day, and they can make money, and they can create things, and they can connect with people. They can set business. There's so many things that can be done. We can learn anything now at the click of a finger. Anything. I was trying to remember something about a book that I've read, and so I decided to test the AI of Google. I said, okay, so what has the da 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 according to that author? And I was hoping for AI to give me just one reminder, and it did. But also, it gave me a link to a recap of the whole book. And I realized that there are summaries of every book that exists on Google in AI. And I went through the resume, and it's very clever. It's exactly all the key points of each chapter as I remember them, but in a much more concise format. And so we can all learn. There's no excuse. Any one of us can learn anything. Um, Shana Cotton, I'm autistic. So when people do mean things to me, I spiral about it and I can't let it go. I get it. I'm sorry. Because I don't understand why someone would do something mean to someone unless they deserved it. I get it. I get it. My husband is autistic, so I get it. Um, so the best thing for me to suggest to you is to hang out with people who are kind and hang out with people who are either on the spectrum or understand people who are on the spectrum. There are many, many of us out there. There are more than you think there are. Professional settings, but also in places where you may share some common interest. And so, if you can hang out with people who are more like you, and this is why I always say find your tribe, this is what it means, then you will hang out with better people. Some people are mean because they've been taught to be mean to those who are different. So, we don't want to spend so much time with those people. It's not their fault, but they're still dangerous and harmful to us. And so it's important to know the difference, right? And so it's true that there are some mean people out there. Society and culture is very, very ableist, sadly. And part of my job is to raise that awareness. However, for those of us who needs to find company, there are plenty of us out there. So it's true. I agree with what you say. I understand where you're coming from, and it's not your fault if you feel hurt like that. Some of us are very sensitive, and it's just the way it is. But you can find people who are emotionally intelligent like you, or as sensitive as you. Maybe not emotionally intelligent as you. I don't know if autistic people are emotionally intelligent necessarily, but what I mean is that you can find people who are aligned with you, who could understand you, who can see you, who can accept you, and who will be kind to you. I'm saying this because I'm struggling a lot sometime with my husband as far as emotional intelligence is concerned. So there you go. But this is an us problem. It's never because of him. It's because of me and him and everyone else. It's because I'm still expecting him at times to behave in ways that he was never meant to behave like. So it's for me to work on that. And he's got to work on understanding me and my own patterns and imbalances. And this is what relationships are about. Who are you? A pumpkin puff. Valid question. Clemens, I need to smoke weed when I feel stressed. Okay, okay. I gladly leave 3 hours car drive from an autistic mother. Okay, so you don't live with her. So don't say what. So what stresses you out? Maybe we can address the stress. Can you do something not to be stressed out? Um, it's like, let's say, if your house is on fire, you're going to use some hose to extinguish the fire. However, you could think about, what if we didn't set the house on fire in the first place? Right? Smoking weed is like extinguishing the fire. Maybe if you could prevent it, is there some ways you can reduce, minimize your exposure to stress? How about this? What stresses you out, Clement? Is there something specific, or is it life stresses you out? People, your thoughts, just existing stresses you out? Because you could have, again, you could be neurodivergent and not knowing it, not being aware of it. Shana Cotton, I pray that God will take the sparrow away and replace my sight with his sight and with forgiveness. But I get angry in almost a deep primal way because I don't understand why people are mean. Okay. It's normal. I understand why you would get angry. People who are on autism sometimes can be very mean as well because they need to stay safe, so they will get to any length to get there. So they can come across as horrible as well. Some of them at times in those situations when we are trapped in the corner. So it's very simple. You're with the wrong people. You don't need to understand that they're not like you. It's like a whole different species. They're like aliens to you, right? Hang out with people who are more like you, who are from the same planet as you. So you don't need to. If you are with people who are on the spectrum, you get it. Your behavior is going to be very, very different from the get-go. I used to work in an office called WeWork, an office space, and there were different companies, and all the big companies had a segment of them full of autistic people. You could tell, it was obvious, right? There would be like a party, they would stand out because they would be different, but it's okay. We are in 2026, and now more and more people are starting to be educated about it and tolerant and accepting and kind. But you can tell them, and also a lot of companies understand that people who are on the spectrum have qualities that neurotypicals don't have. So it's important to understand the value of neurodiversity. Um, the Watch Lady Susie. Hi, I agree. Thank you. The Watch Lady Susie. I've never seen Get Hurt When I Trust. It's so weird. Sally Taylor. Didi, your short videos are very helpful. Thank you. I have applied what I learned in my daily life. Fantastic. Thank you. If I have questions about one of them, can I ask it in the comments so you can answer it in the live sessions? Yes, sure. However, I may not remember it in the live. So the best thing to do is attend the live and ask me then. You can put the comment, so I have an awareness of the sort of things I would like to talk about. I can put a mental note, but I go through so many things through the day. I talk to so many people, I do so many things. I may not remember to mention your thing. I know that some people have asked me some things, but I forgot what it was because I can't remember everything. And so the best thing to do is to do both. Mention it in my short, so I have an awareness, so I can prepare something, and then on my live come and remind me of this, and then I will tell you in greater depth what I think about that conversation. The Watch Lady Susie. How do stop hating your past? By being present. You can either hate your past or you can be present. You can't do both at the same time. The mind can only be in one place at a time, and the present time is where you can do stuff. If your mind is going to travel in the past or in the future, then you're not in the present. And so in the past are all the things that we're angry about, and in the future are all the things that we're scared and worried and anxious about. In the present, for 99.999% of the time, we are at peace. No anger, no resentment, no fear, no anxiety. And so we want to learn how to be present. Mindfulness, meditation, those sort of things. But having said that, If you hate your past, that's because there's a part of you that is hurt and that has some unfinished business with your past. So it's getting your focus still attached to the past. It wants to change this because it doesn't feel safe. If people have hurt you in the past and you don't, and you're still angry at them, it is because there's a part of you that is still fearful that the same situation may happen again. So you're angry at it because you want to fix it from thinking about the past, and it's never going to happen because it's just the past is just an illusion that you are experiencing in your head. It's not a real place. And so if you have been hurt by something from the past, now it's a whole different conversation. Do you want to talk about trauma? Do you want to talk about maybe some conditions that you may have developed because of some unhealed trauma? But if I was going to answer a question as directly as possible, how do we stop hating the past? We do it by being present. That's it. Like I do every day, I go in the park. Again, I talk about it all the time. I sit down, I walk, I look at the pigeons, the little birds, a lot of birds. I don't know their name. Some are black, some are round and brown. They're beautiful, they're super pretty. Uh, some big white pigeons, and there's some squirrels and some butterflies and some bumblebees, and I love that. And I'm so happy. I never worry about the past and the future when I'm there. But the more you practice that, the more you're able to transfer that into your everyday life. So I don't have to be in the park 24/7. Sometimes I'm in my flat, sometimes I'm visiting people, doing other things. But we can learn how to be present wherever we are, whatever we're doing. However, the easiest way to get ourselves introduced to that, I believe, for the vast majority of us, would be through nature. Because we're still very much hardwired to connect with nature. Sarah Gone, hi Didi. Thank you for your kind advice and support. Your view is so comforting and helpful. Thank you so much. I am an old and mature, I guess. All of the trauma of youth is behind me. Different stage of life at 46. Oh, you baby. I'm 56. Stop doing this. Gosh, there's always someone that's like, gosh, I'm so old. I'm 30. I'm joking. You're not old. I mean, compared to someone who is 5 years old, you are super old. You're ancient. But compared to me, you're actually all right. You're young. I wished I was 46. Gosh, 10 years. I celebrated my 56th birthday on the 4th of April. I think it was last Saturday. So you're not old at all. Don't call yourself old and mature. I mean, do what you want. But if you call yourself old and mature, you will believe that. And then that will limit your perspective of life. I don't call myself old or mature. I am as immature as it comes. I don't care. I like to be as silly as I can in private. Not there because people would not understand. Again, ADHD. Uh, but yeah. But I appreciate your comment. Thank you. So you're not old. Please stop this. Don't. Narcissists are the worst. You have a lot of people hate them. It's understandable. Narcissist, psychopath, sadist, sociopath, anyone who doesn't have any empathy can be very, very dangerous indeed, and very toxic to someone else. I agree. Who are you? Thank you, Didi, and sorry for the paragraph. So, all right, never feel sorry for that. I always enjoy all of your interactions, guys. Sorgon, can we talk about criticism? Is there a good way to criticize someone? It depends. I believe no. It depends. Everything is contextual. And so if you're going to have a conversation, let's say about politics, within the confines of that political conversation, yes, you can criticize the action of someone. If you want to talk about something in the context of, I don't know, what their work is, if they are an athlete or an artist, you can criticize within that context. But we don't want to criticize someone because people are people and we are multi-layered, we are multidimensional, and no one is just this or that. Now, some people are so horrible to others that it's difficult not to see evil in them. like I'm sure that you understand what I'm thinking about. Some people in the world are creating a lot of problems to other people, and so within the context of humanity, they are bad, they are hurtful, and they must be dealt with. But again, it's always within a context. Right? If you criticize someone, it's got to be because it is purposeful to the conversation within that context. The way we criticize people is not productive. It's not contextual. It's judging people as this is who they are. It's not their behavior. They are bad character, and they must be destroyed. And this is not productive. Or people do this. Let's say they're gossiping. They do this because they want to get some brownie points from their peers or something like that. And this is not good either. Um, Criticizing can be productive if it's within a context. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. But then, if you want to give me some example, maybe we can delve into a conversation deeper. It feels like I disappear from my husband's mind. I understand there's some expectation, but I say I need this from you, or I can't rely on you, and when he doesn't do it, actions over words. Your husband is on the autism spectrum, isn't it? Could you remind me of this? Because the situation that I shared with you at the beginning of the live stream was it. I asked my husband to post my second post of the day TikTok for me at 5 o'clock. And I checked on him. Did you make sure you programmed 5 o'clock on your? I said yes. But then I was here at 6 and it wasn't out. And oh, sorry, I programmed 7 instead of 5. So I was upset. And for one moment, my BPD mind told me, you can never trust him. He doesn't care about what you do. He doesn't think what you do is important. He's selfish. He's always like that. But then the next moment, I reminded myself, it's not like that. This is my BPD part talking. My husband is autistic. And just like anyone, even if he was not autistic, people make mistakes, and it's nothing to do with me. It's not because he doesn't care about my feelings. In one moment, I reacted because we've been together for a long time, and we've created some dynamics that takes time to undo. But it took me literally seconds to change this. Normally, I would be upset for half an hour, shouting at him, but I didn't do that. Within seconds, I like, it's okay, just let it go. I'm starting my streams anyway. I'm not going to chase him in the street and then shout at him. And so, yeah, I just let it go and I accept that it happens. However, next time I will make sure that I triple check, quadruple check, because I can't. I have to make sure that my operation is as smooth as possible, and I trust him to help me. And the truth of the matter is that he does help me. For the vast majority of times, it's okay. It's just that this one exception when it didn't work. And so, again, change the interpretation. Um, in that moment, I could have told myself, I disappeared from my husband's mind as well. My whole work disappeared from his mind. And it was true. It happened. But it doesn't mean that he did it on purpose. It doesn't mean that he doesn't care. It only means that it happens because of X, Y, Z. Maybe he's got something that is bugging him. Maybe it doesn't matter. Um, it's about stop believing that things are always happening because of us. We're not the center of the world. However, if we have BPD, we will believe that we are the center of the world. We will believe that everything is happening to us, at us, or because of us. And it's never that. Things are just happening, we happen to be there, and we take it personally, when it was never anything personal. I need this from you, or I can rely on you. Okay, so I covered this, I think. Down, actions speak louder than words, I get you. Okay, yes. Pumpkin Puff, for some reason, this cycle of I've asked this 1,000 times makes me feel like I'm either an idiot because I'm acting like a child and not believing effort, or a monster because I'm not patient enough. So is it because you told him thousands of times? If you have told him something thousands of times and he can't do this, then maybe you need to change this. Why would you expect someone to do something that he has not been able to do despite you telling him thousands of times? Think about this. The reason why I was upset at my husband is because all the other times he did it. If he could never do it, if it was not something that his brain, for whatever reason, could not do, I would stop asking him. I would think about something else. I would accept this is who he is. He can't do this. I've got to find an alternative to that. But he has done it. He has helped me. I put my post out when I'm not home, if I go for a walk, so I don't need to be always in front of my laptop. And yeah. So what did you ask him thousands of times? Can we talk about this? Pumpkin Puff. I'm also sorry for typing a paragraph. Thank you for helping me. Don't be sorry, please. Again, like I'm always happy with your interactions. Clemens, existing daily life gives me anxiety, to answer your question. Okay, so in that case, you want to address your anxiety. This is it. It's not about the weed. The weed is the solution to anxiety. The problem is the anxiety. Do you do some work on your anxiety? Are you looked after? Do you do some any type of work in regards to that? This is what you want to do. Address the anxiety. And we can talk about this, by the way. Serving my Redeemer. 8 billion people on the planet today, and there's only one you. Thanks again, Sensei. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. There's only one of me, but there's only one of you as well. There's only one of every single person that is watching. We are all unique. But thank you very much. That's very kind of you. I appreciate it. Sorgon, laughing face emoji. I'm young forever. Yes, you are, Sorgon. Gosh, 46. Shut up. You're not old. Sorgon, you are funny, Didi. All right, thank you. Shada Cotton, thank you for everything you do, of course. Sorgon, I say I'm old because I had to go through a lot. You know what? When you're going to be 70 years old, 80 years old, 90 years old, you're going to think of that. You're going to think, gosh, what a fool was I to think that I was old. Being old or being young is comparative. So you're only old or young compared to something. So that means that if you compare to yourself to someone that is older than you, you'll be young. But if you compare yourself to someone that is younger than you, you'll be old. And so why does it matter anyway? Unless there's a specific conversation, again, within a specific context, that needs to find out whether we're younger or older, there's no need for that. Right? Dawn, I love butterflies, bumblebees, and dragonflies. Yes, nature is magic and amazing. Pumpkin Puff, yes. My experiences with my husband isn't unique, I see. No, it's not. Not at all. There are many of us out there. You're not on your own. One VT Mum, hello Didi, I hope you're well. I'm very well indeed. How about you? Pumpkin Puff, yes, he tells me he doesn't want to hurt me. He's trying, but he needs me to validate his feelings. But it feels impossible to not connect. He doesn't do it, so he doesn't care. So this is a bit confusing. He tells me he doesn't want to hurt me, okay? He's trying, but he needs me to validate his feelings. So he needs you to validate his feelings, okay? That's fair enough. We need both. You need to be validated. He needs to be validated as well. We need to be seen. We need to be connected. We need to talk the same language. We need to see that we care and that we matter to one another. It's normal. But it feels impossible to not connect. He doesn't do it, so he doesn't care. It's difficult for you to change that interpretation, right? It takes work. So, very easy. Right now, do you genuinely, profoundly believe that your husband doesn't care about you? Yes or no? We know the answer. We don't. So in that moment, it's easy for you to accept this. So what you need to do is to get into that state where you can remember that it's easy for you to see things from that perspective. And you do this by going outside for a walk first, amongst other things. Don't stress can age you, sadly. Yes. Well, you know what? The one thing that can age you the most is life. Being alive really ages you. From the moment you are born, every day, gosh, life, I hate you, life. You age me so much. You know what I mean? So yes, stress can age you, but what you can do is to work on the stress so that you get less stress, and then you can learn how to look after yourself, sleep more, put some cream on your face, have a better diet, exercise, be happy, and eventually with time, regardless of how you look like, you will, if you think about age in terms of look, I don't know if that's what you think about, but you will look much more younger and healthier and happier. But in regards to how you feel, it's the same. Stress does affect us. It's true. It's absolutely true. But you can reverse it. You can learn how to no longer take stress. You can learn how to minimize your exposure to stress, your reaction to stress, your reasons as to why you're stressed out. You may have some scars inside of you that needs to be attended. So whatever that it is, I'm just being funny here. I understand what you mean. Stress is absolutely something that does affect us every day. But uh, but then we can address the stress. Do you agree with this, Dawn? One VT my connection keeps disconnecting. Okay, well, can everyone see me? We had some sound problem at the start of the live. I hope that the Wi-Fi is not going as well. Pumpkin Puff. If we argue, it exhausts him and he doesn't try till he's not trying again. But I feel like I'm always trying. I have to manage my BPD and responsibilities, but I struggle to just consider me in ways I need. It's not that, it's because you are doing it at the wrong time in the wrong way. Remember, you have BPD. He has autism. You are antipodians, as in when you have a problem like me, I have to find out, I have to talk about it. We need to find a solution right here, right now. Otherwise, I can't rest. His perspective, I'm overwhelmed. Leave me alone. It's too much. So it's about going out for a walk so that you are in a state, both of you, where you can talk again in peace. Without tension, without pressure. You don't want to argue. Of course, he's autistic. If you argue, he will always be exhausted. Argument is the last thing that anyone with autism wants to ever experience. It's the worst thing as far as they are concerned. You should know this. Remind yourself of this. Of course, when you are going through states, you don't know anything. You just see the enemy. I must destroy him, or something like that. This is how I feel about it. And so, go out for a walk, change how you feel, go from that place to here, and then if you can do this, eventually, only then sit down peacefully and ask your husband, "Are you ready to talk, or shall I wait a bit longer?" And then when he's ready, and then when you're ready, talk. Grab each other's hand, look yourself in the eyes. I'm sorry it's happened. I'm sorry that this happened. It's not your fault, it's not my fault. Let's analyze what happened. Let's see how we can make sure that the next time we're better prepared for it. And then apologize and get him to apologize to you. Serving my Redeemer, and be ye kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as you too have been forgiven. Okay, Dawn, he is drinking tonight, and I always try to keep away from him. His face turns. Who are you talking about? He's drinking. Who's drinking tonight, Dawn? Pumpkin Puff. I think he cares about me, but he's in his own habit thought of focusing on himself. He says things that are so rude, but they weren't intended that way at all, because he didn't think about it before. Yes, because he's autistic. You have to get your head around this. If you suffer, I think one of the reasons is because you still expect him to behave in ways that are not autistic ways. If you don't change this, you will always suffer. And there's nothing you can do about this. Because you're asking someone to behave in ways that he's not meant or designed to behave like. You must accept him like he is, and he must accept you like you are. So that's two battles. So it's a lot of things to do. But you can only do what you can do from your end of the equation. And so remind yourself he's autistic. This is how he presents himself. You can still teach him, speak to him, and there's some progress that can be made, absolutely. But it's going to take a lot of time, and you can never be disappointed if he's not there yet. He's always doing his best, but sometimes he just doesn't have a clue, and it's not his fault. Like you don't choose to be angry, you don't choose to have rage, you don't choose to take things personally and to feel insecure. You don't. Like I don't choose those things. Those are the results of our upbringing, and we never chose any of those things. However, he needs to understand this about you. You are not being needy. You need to feel seen and heard. He is not being rude. He needs to learn how to communicate with people who are not autistic. And so it's two journeys, and you need to meet in between. And this is what relationship is about. It's about learning how to heal together, learning how to speak the same language, learning how to be together without having to do anything but to be yourself. Thank you for your heart. Sarah Bay from Paris. Yes, I see you and hear you. All right, fantastic. Thank you, Sarah. So Wi-Fi is working for everyone else. Pumpkin Puff. I feel like the crappy parents who make him feel like shit. But then I feel like shit from my issues. It's a cycle that I want to fix. You're working on it. It's happening. It's working. You're fixing it. It's just that it's taking a lot of time, more time than you anticipated. But something is happening. You're getting better, aren't you? Remember, focus on the progress, not the outcome. Thirsty. I forgot to drink. I'm having mochaccino, coffee and cocoa. So yeah, pumpkin puff. Apparently, I fix it by walking. I agree. It's been 10 years of my issues overriding just accepting him and actually just unconditionally loving him. It's not about unconditionally loving him. It's about accepting that he is like that, but he still needs to change some things about him. However, there are some things that he cannot change, and there are some things that he can over a long period of time. Nothing is all black or white. And it's the same thing the other around. It's both. You need to change some things, but there are some things that will take much more time, and he needs to be aware of this. There are still things that really triggers me from my husband, and that triggers him from me. We're working on it. It's really, really not getting so much better. We've been together for a long time now, but you know, it's a journey because we have to undo habits of a lifetime. The unconditional part is accepting that we're doing our best, but we don't want to accept some behavior when they're hurtful. And so there's some behavior from my husband that can be hurtful, and I will call him out. But we will work on that, and I will have to understand and accept also that I know that you're doing your best, but I need to remind you to better, please. Keep doing, keep doing. And the same thing with me. I still need to work on myself. Sometimes I get angry, I get say stupid things, and I hide that. And I don't want to be this. And he needs to call me out and to tell me, you know, that's too much. And I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. I didn't realize. And I'm like, I apologize. And I'm going to do better next time. This is how we change the program over time. XXJ boy, thank you for your time, Didi. Thank you for appreciating. Sarah Bay from Paris, thank you for everything. I need to go. Okay, goodbye. Bonsoir, Sarah Bay from Paris for now. Do subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you next time. I want to remind you, if you don't know it yet, I come live on YouTube every Wednesdays and every Fridays from 6 p.m. UK time. Kitty Cat Fluff Puff. Woohoo! Caught alive. Yes. Is there anything you want to ask me? Kitty Cat. Sarah Bay from Paris. Love Mochaccino. So have a good day and happy belated birthday. Thank you so much. And see you next. Fudu. Thank you. Thank you, Fudu. I'm still here, guys. I'm still here for another 11 minutes. Yeah, up till 8 o'clock. We still have time to talk about anything you want to talk. I'm having more of that lovely drink. Pumpkin Puff. Oh yes, I need you to do better, please. I will borrow that. It's hard. Yeah. Stop saying it's hard. It's not hard. Remember, things are only hard if you think about it. Just do the thing. Photo anniversaries. Yes, we've been together for 21 years. On the 31st of March was our 21st anniversary. So I'm not sure why you're mentioning this, but if that's what you're referring to, unless you want to talk about something else. Pumpkin Puff, I know you understand this. I'm still trying to understand when I'm switched or when my husband is being defensive. Sometimes it's both. I think it can be both more often than not. It's never just this or that. This is the thing. However, the only thing that you can do is to address your part, your side of the equation. It takes two to tango. It always takes two people for anything to happen. Even when someone allows something, it's still allowing for that thing to happen. So it takes two to tango. And so when a situation arises with you and your husband, remind yourself something is happening. It's not because of him. It's not because of me. It's because of us. This is the one most important thing that we can do in a relationship, is to always remind ourselves that it's not me against him or her, me against the other one, the enemy. In that moment, that person is our father or our mother or someone that we used to suffer from in flashback. And and if we can remind ourselves, it's not them, it's not me. It's just that in that moment, both of our past are clashing when we are misaligned. And so that allows us to take a breath, take a walk, take a break, and eventually get back to a state of clarity where we can see things clearly and talk with love and compassion and forgiveness, as opposed to protection, defensiveness, blame. Pumpkin Puff, like you said, it is just two adult children fighting. Yes, we just go in circles till we are both too exhausted to continue. So you see, it's a process. It's a process. But at least, so I don't know how long it's going to take. Maybe it's going to take a lifetime, right? This is the thing. Accept that it may be it. But as long as you're doing your best, that's all that matters, right? If it was just it, I want you to think about it, something different. If it was just it, would you still be happy with your husband? Or would you rather be on your own? Or with people who don't get you? Would you rather be with someone that you don't fight? Would you rather be, yes, not with him? So just that thought should remind you that you're still in a better place, no matter what is happening. Sometimes we wish for our relationships to be perfect, and that can be a problem. Accept that you are both working on it, and that's called evolution. You're not working on yourself because you're not good enough. You're working on yourself because you deserve both better. You're not coming from a place of self-hatred or the hatred of the other. You're coming from a place of self-love. You want to love better each other. And so remind yourself, you know what? It's not perfect, but you may think, oh, my husband is such an asshole. But he's my asshole. He's such a stubborn mother, but he's mine. It's okay. And we're working on this, right? Uh, and so that will help you maybe feel a bit better about your situation. If you've been together for 10 years, it tells me that you're onto something, right? Um, Especially knowing that you both have conditions. And so, I believe that you are an item and that it will always get better. And so you should learn how to be satisfied with the good things that you already have in your life now, in the knowing and awareness that we are in this life to constantly expand and evolve. So you will get better anyway. But it's very important for you to remind yourself that you don't want to do this because you hate yourself or because you hate him. You do this because you love yourself and because you love him. You want to create something as opposed to destroy something. Does it make sense? I think that anyone who's got BPD, if you are with someone, it's a blessing in itself. Right? And I would say that the same with people with autism, because people with autism can feel terribly lonely and unseen and misunderstood. And so I think that anyone who is neurodivergent, really, when we find someone else who is also neurodivergent, it's quite special because we understand that we suffered because of society not accepting us for who we are. And so we have already that thing in common with the other person. But also we understand that at some point the enemy was never the other. The enemy is all the shame that we have developed and the anger because of society. And so our common enemy is the system. Uh, it's an ableist system. Um, Dawn Woodland said hi. All right, you're back. Pumpkin Puff. He is constantly misunderstood by people. So am I. So there you go. I wish I was better, and I hope that he wants to be too. Stop saying to yourself, I wish I was better. Stop this. Accept yourself for who you are now. Tell yourself there are a lot of good things about myself. And the part of you that is still problematic is not who you are. Remember, it's your program. It's the trauma that you have never chosen. So now you're working on yourself to upgrade those programs. But there's a part of you inside of you that always came from a good place, but was always trying to be seen, to be loved, and to be kind to others as well. And if you react with rage or anger or aggression, it's not your fault. So accept that there's a good soul inside of you, and learn how to love yourself. Separate your behavior from your potential. Well, your behavior is the result of your trauma. Your potential is who you are. I often talk about namaste. So I'm going to say it again. Namaste in Hindu means the divine in me salutes the divine in you. So basically what it means is that I see you past your behavior, past your appearance, past my judgment. I see you as a being, as a soul, as energy, as unlimited potential. And this is how we should be looking at people like. We are all unlimited potential, but we are all restricted and limited because of our trauma and because of the judgment of others as well. And so if we can at least get rid of the judgment that we have over others, then it's a start to reconnect. So I was saying this so that you can, pumpkin puff, remind yourself, when I say be kind to yourself, this is what it means. Accept that there's nothing wrong about you. There are some patterns of behaviors that are toxic in society and relationships that you're working on, and it's not your fault. Nothing was ever your fault. Nothing was ever anyone's fault. We're literally the result of everything that happened to us up to this point. Chris Hilton, thanks for your help, Tilly. Thank you so much, Chris. And it's always a pleasure to see your interactions on my post. I always appreciate it. Thank you so much. I appreciate your loyalty and your consistency. David, what is the nature of love and the being of love? So the nature of love is an experience. Love can be many things. There are millions of definitions of love. But the way that I explain it, the way that I see it, is that love is an emotion, it's a feeling, it's a moment, it's an experience. That's it. What is the being of love? I don't understand what is the being of love. I don't understand that. The being of love. For me, love is something that we can experience. It's an energy that we can channel, that we can share, that we can give in that moment, in a moment. That's what love is. It's the energy of creation, the energy of connection, the energy of creativity and possibilities, and expansion, growth. Love is the drive, as opposed to fear. THIJ sick. Hi Didi, how a person that till now didn't learn how to accept herself can start to do. Okay, so how do we learn how to love yourself? I did a video about it. If you can check my YouTube account, let me go there. I have a series of long form videos. I stopped doing it for 4 weeks because I was burnt out. I will resume at some point. I do short videos and long videos. There's one long form video that I put 4 months ago called Self-Love 101, How to Love Yourself. So just check it out. I'm going to put my my last TikTok post of the day. Sometimes. So if you can go back if you subscribe first, please, I would appreciate your support. But then go on my page and check it out. Self-Love 101, How to Love Yourself. I'll talk about it there. To love yourself, you must first stop hating yourself. So we have a program and we're always putting ourselves down. I'm not enough, I'm not lovable, I'm not capable, I'm a piece of shit or whatever, I don't deserve the good things in life. We do this to ourselves. It's just a habit. And so to love ourselves, we must first learn how to dismantle that program. However, I'm coming to the end of the live stream. It's 8 o'clock. So I will read the last comment. But just as a reminder, guys, I come here live on YouTube twice a week, every Wednesdays and every Fridays from 6 p.m. UK time. And so I would love to talk about this in more depth. If you can come back next time, more at 6 o'clock, so I have more time, that'd be great. If not, check the video that I talked about. It's only, I think, 7 minutes video. TJIJC. But if you if you can come back either next Wednesday or next Friday, I would love to tell you all about it live. Okay. Pumpkin Puff, we are both weird. It's very much yin and yang situation. I just feel like I'm a bit mean, and like fire is like ice. I may hurt him on accident. Also, I love that he's an a-hole, but he's my a-hole. David, exclamation mark. Pumpkin Puff, that's very true. I need to keep your words in mind more often. Thank you. Dawn, being picked on can feel like someone has a chisel and is chipping the piece away slowly. It's true. It's true. Yeah. TJC can't start doing it. Dawn, fire and ice. That's a good way of explaining it. TJC, oh thanks, perfect. Uni Vegasus, thank you for your service. Thank you so much. Pumpkin Puff, thank you, Didi, for our chat today. Have a good evening and weekend. Thank you so much, guys. I'm going to go. So, again, I'm on TikTok and I'm on YouTube. Do follow me on both. I'm also on Instagram. Lately, I had viral videos and there's quite a lot of attention out of nowhere. So, I only recycle one post a day on there, but I'm more on TikTok and YouTube. Please follow me on YouTube if you can. Check out my long form video. And also, if you need more details about me as a therapist and coach, there should be a link on my bio to my website. Something to mention for those who may need it. And that's it. I will see you hopefully sometime next week. And I wish you a fantastic weekend, day or night, wherever you are. Remember to be kind to yourself and take care of yourself. Bye bye now. Thank you.